Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Gross Kurfurst. And we are going to do a bit of a double feature. Namely because I didn't really have any of those standout games. I have a couple good games here for you guys to showcase the fun that can be had in the Grossa. But Gross Kurfurst is probably the weakest of the tier, the legendary tier battleships. The reason being is it's just so frickin' cumbersome. It's such a large target that it really does just kind of eat damage from everywhere. But when you get a chance to use it for what it's for, it is kind of fun. And I will say this: I am running the new commander that increases the secondary accuracy and stuff even more. So this is like the best possible scenario for the Gross Kurfurst as far as secondaries go. But the problem with the secondaries is, even with 10-kilometer secondaries in this thing, you just don't get to use them all that often. Because you can't just charge straight into battle, you'll just get obliterated by the destroyers. Because every destroyer on the map is looking for a Gross Kurfurst. It's like the easiest ship in the world to torpedo into oblivion. Even with a good player on board, the Gross Kurfurst just can't get out of the way. But we come out wide initially. We're going to try to put it on. We've got a Conqueror and a Yamato. Now, one thing to remember is we also have somebody in the cap right now. Okay, somebody's in the cap, capping the base, while we have a Yami and we have a Conqueror out here. So we've got to keep that in mind. Now, we're already in secondary range. This is one of those few maps that favor the Gross Kurfurst for that secondary range. But you can see whoever was in the cap is no longer in the cap. They've decided to get out of there. Now, Conqueror, not too worried about, but that freaking destroyer that we knew was here is scary. We do get 19,000 damage off the Conqueror right there, and we managed to dodge all of the torpedoes. At least we thought we were going to dodge all the torpedoes, but it's a Shima who gets 15 of them, and unfortunately, even full turn and slowing down, we can't quite avoid the last of them, and there goes half our hit point, like just straight up. And that is the problem with the Shima. It's just too freaking broken, man. That Shima hits you with one torpedo and takes 23,000 damage off of you. Like, really? One torpedo. Sent 15 of them at me. I dodged 14 of them. And I still lose 23,000 hit points. It's broken. Everybody. Shima, ridiculous. But, that being said, we can't just run away forever. We're still trying to fight these guys. Our secondary's still going off. Actually, I don't think our secondaries are going off anymore. We've gotten outside of range. But we're trying to get rid of the Conqueror. The Conqueror has the ability to do the whole 3D printed ship again. We don't want that to keep going on. You can see I am having to double back. Once again, keeping in mind that there is a Shima out here somewhere. We don't want that. Now, we've got everybody on our team right now that's on this left side focusing that Conqueror down. There's two reasons for this. First of all, you got the Conqueror super heal, and then the second thing is that these guys are willed to rebuilding each other. And the Conqueror is actually the easier target to kill because it's not as armored as the Yami. So if we can get rid of the Conqueror quickly, then that gets rid of a fire spammer, prolific fire spammer, and B, gets rid of the will to rebuild for the Yami. You can see the Conqueror is healing some of that health back, but with everybody shooting at him, it's just a matter of time. He will go down. He's constantly on fire. He's got me shooting at him with high caliber AP, and you can see we get a good hit on him that time, 9,000 damage or so, and we're taking minimal damage now that we've kind of separated ourselves. Conqueror is still fighting that, trying to heal. He's fighting that fire spammer with everything he's got, just showcasing how nasty the Conqueror is to kill as he heals it back. But again, it's a matter of time. You're playing around with heals, you're not going to survive forever, as our Lenin gets absolutely smashed by the Shima. And Conqueror, having expended his heal, is now going to go down. He's on fire. We just took all of his health from him again. We're up to 57,000 damage, not a huge amount of damage. But then Conqueror manages to put out the fire. So we're back to shooting at the Conqueror. And of course, just as we get the shot, we go behind the island and waste it. But I think we get 1 shell or 2. Yeah, we get 3 penetrations somehow. I don't know how it happened. Somehow we got a couple rounds over the island there and managed to take a good chunk off of the Conqueror, and he's going to get finished off here because he's on fire again. And now we're going to start pushing in on the Yami. Now, because of the fact that the Conqueror's down, the Yami, I think, just kind of loses his will to really put up a fight. And he's given me a beautiful shot. And this is part of the reason I came back over here, is to be moving up into a crossfire. Now, I've got to be careful because I am giving a lot of angle to this Yami, who could easily punch me in the mouth. And here they come, I believe. Yep. And he gets a very nice hit. Didn't see exactly how much damage he did there, but it was significant. And while we do have a juicy angle at him and our secondaries are pounding him, he's on fire multiple times. Like, this guy is not long for this world. He starts to come in towards the bow tank me, but with my secondaries and my, my guns hitting his superstructure, he's not long for this world. And we actually get a close quarters expert out of it. So GG to Edward Kenway there. A nice little Assassin's Creed Black Flag reference. I like it. Love that game, by the way. And we're going to start moving up. Suja has done everything it can do. It was setting fires like nobody's business. It is now heading out to, in theory, take on the Shima that was out here. Luckily for us, the Shima kind of just like walked off and left. And now we are going to push back across the front of the base. We're going to get into the cap, try to help capture this base real quick. And then we are going to go straight across the center as our Suja runs out of the cap. You gotta love it. Now, I say that, but I'm fairly confident I leave this cap as well. We've got 2 cap advantage. So at the end of the day, this cap's not really that important. I'm fairly confident I just sail right through it to try to help my teammates fight this Bismarck up ahead. Who's going to give me a juicy shot. He's bow tanking the battleship right in front of him. And we've got an absolutely juicy angle to shoot at him. So, yeah, we just sail right out of the cap, leaving our battleship behind us to finish capping that base. Our secondaries start going off, and now you're going to be seeing the Bismarck secondaries plus the Grossa Kurfurst secondaries, which is just always fun to watch. A lot of secondaries, is what I'm saying. But Bismarck decides, rightfully so, to start bow tanking me because, heaviest broadside in the game. 427 millimeter guns? It's just nasty. But he starts to turn out, and we wait for a good opportunity. We aim a little high to make sure that we get as many penetrations as possible. We hit this man for 14,000 damage. He's aiming at us, which is hilarious. It is Bismarck. He does have 15-inch guns and can absolutely punch us in the mouth, but it doesn't take much angle whatsoever to pretty much negate everything that he shoots at us, and he goes down. Now, the battleship behind us managed to capture Alpha. We've got all 3 caps. We are currently losing Charlie, but we've got a 530-point advantage. They do still have 2 Shimas, and they have a Suja, I believe. And so we're going to go put ourselves in position to intercept these guys in Charlie. I'm not interested in chasing a Shima off the map. There's no consequence to his, or he's no help to his teammate as long as we don't chase him. So we're going to put ourselves in position to intercept the guys coming out of Charlie. Now, the Charlie cap, they're not likely to come out of the mid. And you'll see they don't actually come out of the mid. Now this guy in the Kaaba, I need to point out, is in a gunboat Kaaba. Like, the Kaaba is a gunboat, and he's not running twist and track. How do I know he's not running twist and track? Because he has no idea where the Shima is that's on this right side. I can't stand that. I honestly cannot stand that. Now, I know a lot of people run the Kaaba like a light cruiser, running around at maximum gun range and, you know, dodging shells and setting fires. I get that. But, in my opinion, gunboat destroyers' #1 priority has to be killing other destroyers. Has to. And if you don't have twist and track, it makes that job very, very difficult. Now, here we get a quick shot over the top. Didn't lead him enough, so those shells are not going to hit. Kind of worried about shooting over that island and getting the shots off rather than having them hit the trees. So I rushed the shot a little bit. Didn't lead him enough. But either way, we took a shot at him anyway. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This Kaaba sailing in circles in the middle of the map. There's nobody here. There's a friendly Shima over there, I think, that's getting ready to go through the mid. I think it's a Shima. Is getting ready to go through that little mid gap into Charlie. Suja has about half his hit points. We're going to be pushing through the gap ahead. We are spotted currently, which means there is a destroyer nearby. So I'm anticipating torpedoes, but unfortunately I've already used all of my sonars. And the last sonar I used, I kind of wasted. I was expecting torps to come through the gap while I was fighting the Bismarck. They didn't. So that's unfortunate. But we do see these torpedoes a little late. A little earlier than we would have spotted them. But yeah, we kind of drift over in front of one of them. And it's a Shima torp, so there goes half our hit points. That one was actually reduced. Not sure exactly why. Maybe the bow is saturated, hopefully. But either way, we know he's out here, and it's somewhere in this neighborhood where I get into the comms. I'm like, imagine being in a Kaaba and not having twist and track. Especially with the new commander rework that every freaking commander just about for the destroyers has twist and track ability. So I don't understand why people don't have twist and track on their destroyers. But you can see I'm not falling for the Kaaba going straight ahead. Like, I don't think the Shima's there. I think the Shima's trying to get behind us. So I'm going to try to cut him off. And I'm also opening an angle to be able to shoot at the Suja, who is now spotted. He's behind the island. I don't have a shot at him. These shells don't float very high. It makes him a lot easier to hit a lot more often. But unfortunately, it's just not the way it's going to go down. Just as we get a chance to potentially shoot this guy, you'll notice that the enemy Shima gets spotted. We wait for this guy to run aground because we don't want to waste our shot, and that's when we spot the Shima. And we go ahead, pop that secondary booster, and our secondaries just chew this man apart. Just completely chewed the man apart. He had no chance. Could have fired our main guns at the Suja, but again, any chance you get, I didn't know how much health the guy had. I needed to save my broadside for that Shima and potentially knocking him out as we hit 1,000 points. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this first one. It was a nice little showcase of, you know, the secondaries as well as, you know, the tankiness of the Kurfurst when it has the ability to, and the fact that I get 5 heals with the hide build. Now in the second one, this one's going to be more of the showcase of the guns, and then just me being an idiot at the end. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's pretty comical. But anyway, we're going to push off to the left side. We spawned over here. You guys know I like to win my side. So we're going to push off to the left. And there's going to be some questionable play from teammates, as usual. But one in particular, it just makes no sense. And it's a Shimakaze that has no camo on. So that should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about that. So Shimakaze, right in front of us, and has no camo. This guy is probably going to be the least useful Shima I have ever had on my team. Just watch what he does. Like, I don't even have to say anything. Just watch what he does on the map. and then explain to me what he was trying to accomplish, because I have no idea. But we do have a cruiser over here who's going to help spot for us, and we are going to try to put ourselves in position. We don't really have a shot at the gross Kurfurst. I would love to get that shot because I don't think I would be spotted. But you can see I'm measuring them up with the auto aim. We're waiting for an opportunity. As soon as we clear the mountains, we're going to go ahead and unleash all of the broadside. We don't get spotted, which is good. And we're hoping to smash the man. But he is angled relatively well to us. And we only get a couple hits, 10k or 9k damage. Not the best in the world. Now Shima is actually going to come out and spot for us. You can see we are looking at the gross Kurfurst now, but he's not the only one over here. We get spotted, which tells me there's probably a destroyer here, but it's actually an Amagi, and the Amagi is full broadside, and we get an absolute beautiful shot. Now somebody's in the cap, which means there is a destroyer here. As we double citadel the Amagi and just absolutely wreck the man. Hit him with 9 shells and the 2 citadels. So we absolutely punched the man. And that's one of those things that I try to like point out when it happens, is the Grosse Kurfürst isn't the inaccurate German battleship that everybody, talks about. Of course, neither is the Bismarck anymore, as we actually get citadeled in return by the Amagi hitting us for 12,100 with one of his shells. But Amagi's turned out, making himself a very difficult target to smash. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do nothing. Now, we are coming up on the edge of the map. I am paying attention to this. This map, when you spawn on this side, it just runs out of room real quickly. So you've got to be careful. I'm trying not to give the broadside of my ship to everybody. You've got the Grosse Kurfürst out there. You've got the Amagi. You've got the Conqueror. I don't want to give everybody my broadside. But with everybody over here, we are going to go ahead, run into the edge of the map. We're going to start turning out and trying to turn towards, back towards where we spawned, essentially. Now, we've seen the torpedoes coming. We knew it was going to be just a matter of time. There was a destroyer in Alpha, for God's sakes. But our destroyer's too afraid to engage anything, so we can't actually spot the destroyer. And you can see where our destroyer is and try to tell me what he's doing, because I have no clue. I have no idea what he's doing. But big ship, hard to turn, especially when you've got reduced engine power due to running into the edge of the map like I did. So it's going to take some time. We are going to get turned back in and be floating across the center of the map before long. And that's when the enemy Amagi decides to come out and test us a second time, being completely broadside. Now, I'm not spotted currently, so I get that. Maybe he just forgot I existed, but as soon as he gets in range, which is one of the downsides of the Grosse Kurfürst, it doesn't have the most range in the world, but still, as soon as he gets in range, he's just begging for it. Broadside on for a 12-gun salute, and unfortunately for him, that's going to do it. Meaning we've gotten 3 citadels off that man. 2 of them in the first shot, and then 1 of them there. Sailing broadside to a Kurfürst is a bad idea. The Kurfürst can and will remove you. It is not inaccurate at all. In fact, it's pretty freaking accurate. The issue, like I said, that I have with the Kurfürst is it's just so freaking big. It's such a big ship, takes so long to turn that torpedoes are darn near impossible to dodge. And then when you do dodge, you still end up taking like 1 of them. And at legendary tier, the torpedoes hit for 23,000 damage a pop. So taking torpedoes is just not a good idea at legendary tier. But in something that's 1,000 feet long and can't turn, it's kind of hard to avoid those torpedoes. But that being said, the Conqueror out here is finding out that he struggles to dodge torpedoes when he runs into the edge of the map. And he's also broadside to a Grosse Kurfürst. And we don't actually get the shot that I was hoping to get. We get 6 overpins on a Conqueror. 6 overpins on a Conqueror. That was embarrassing. But It happens. What can you do? He's not long for this world. He gets finished off by our Yami, who's right here. And that's when we see the Alaska. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot at the Alaska. He's not going full throttle, so we're going to try to account for that. And I think he does speed up after we fire. So these do end up hitting towards the rear and just not getting us much out of it. Now, our destroyer has decided to go into Alpha and get that cap. We still have 2 destroyers left on the enemy team to worry about. One of them is a gearing, and I believe the gearing is over at Delta, or in that neighborhood. And everybody on my team is going to get a case of the shoot the bad guys that are spotted, and nobody is going to make an effort to go after the destroyer. Now, the Shima on the enemy team has just signed his death warrant. He has pushed up, trying to get into Alpha and run right into our Yami, Kuchuzov, and our Shima. So the Shima on this side has actually done some things late here by torping that Conqueror, and then I'm assuming he was the one to spot the Shima. If it wasn't him, it was the Yami, because the Yami started pushing around the corner. But there has been some goodness, and that's when we get some torpedoes sent in our direction, and I'm assuming that bad things are about to happen, and sure enough, 26,000 damage done right there to us from 2 torpedoes. That should be all you need to know about the torpedo threat that's on this right side. We know it's the gearing. We know that he's here, and we know that he's trying to torp us. Why I completely, tunnel vision these guys and completely forget about the gearing, I'll never know. This is one of those times where I'm pointing out one of my mistakes that I think that a lot of people don't realize that I do that, but I do all the time. I like to point out my mistakes because A, it helps me learn, and maybe helps keep somebody else from making a similar mistake in the future. But you can see I am heavily tunnel visioned trying to shoot the Alaska, who's giving me the best possible angle to kill him. And then we've got the Yami out here who's stern tanking, and we've got the Gross Kurfurst who's bow tanking, and the Alaska's doing a pretty good job of managing his throttle, and I'm doing a terrible job at remembering about the gearing. So you can see I'm actually going straight at where the gearing most likely is. He already torped us from the right once, and he's got all the islands in the world to hide behind on this side of the map to protect him while I'm pushing towards him. Now, we get another shot at the Alaska here, and you can see I am actually thinking about the gearing, but for some reason in my head, I just completely ignore it as we get a double Citadel on the Alaska, finally getting that hit that we were looking for. And you can see that I do decide to come back out and push more towards these guys. But both of our destroyers are damage chasing. I'm damage chasing. The battleships that are with me are damage chasing. The Kuchuzov is way out of play. There's really nobody that's paying any attention to the gearing. And considering I'm the closest one to the gearing, I should be the one, if anybody, paying attention to the fact that there's gearing nearby. I know he's there, and yet I still do the dumbest thing I could possibly do, wander out into the open water in a 1,000-foot-long ship, and even though I do start turning towards that direction, assuming torpedoes are coming, it's just the gearing player knew what he was doing. He was waiting. He was biding his time. The Gross Kurfurst did go down. We've still got the Yami out here. We've got the Alaska. Alaska is doing the T-Bull shuffle. I don't fall for this. And we do get a pretty solid hit, I believe, on the Alaska here, which should have been the kill shot. Let's be real. And that's when all of the, yeah, there's just nothing I can do here. Nothing I can do here. Well done to the gearing. Just a dumb play by me. Again, I knew he was there. I knew I should have been turning towards him, but trying to get that shot off at the Alaska, who's border humping, I kind of just left it. But either way, we end up having a pretty solid game. 122,000 damage. Not a great game, but a solid game. 5 Citadels, which is something you don't get very often. in legendary tier battleships. But, you know, when people sail broadside to you and they just beg for it, it can happen. Amagi, like, that Amagi just had a death wish. That's the only thing I can figure. Like, I can imagine in his head he just got demoralized after being double citadelled in the first salvo. He's just like, you know what, screw this crap. As our Yami reaches out and just finishes off the Alaska. But we're going to point out, I believe, before we ever end up finding this destroyer. So this is pretty much the end. But you can see the Kutuzov finally getting into Bravo. Would have been nice to have that guy moving forward a little sooner rather than damage chasing. But again, I have nobody to blame on this team other than me for that, because we took the torpedoes initially, knew he was over here, and then just gift wrapped ourselves for the gearing. So I got nobody to blame but myself for that stupid move. But again, you get tunnel visioned, you make stupid plays. And that's the whole point of these videos, is to showcase some of these and try to learn from it so that we don't make those same mistakes in the future. But again, 990 points, 2 more ticks, we're out of here, and this one is finished. Finished, I see. And there we go, 1,000 points. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. What do you guys think of the Gross Kurfurst? I got second on the leaderboard in this one, 2,000 base XP, even though I kind of gave myself up and died like a doofus. But anyway, if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.